We are the Student Success Program team, and we're excited to talk with you about two essential skills for academic and personal success: time management and organization. Understanding time, how time actually works for student.
Where does the time go? A lot of time loss isn't obvious. It's not just scrolling TikTok for an hour, it's things like switching between tasks, responding to notifications, or underestimating how long small tasks take. These hidden time costs add up fast, and most students don't realize they're happening. Fixed commitments are things you can't move: class, work, shifts, appointments. Flexible commitments are things like studying, homework, chores. Problems happen when we treat flexible time like it's unlimited. Once you recognize the difference, planning becomes way more realistic. Now, estimating time realistically. Most people plan based on how long they want something to take, not how long it actually takes. Our brains are optimistic. That's why building buffer times is huge. Not because you're bad at time management, but because you're human. Procrastination is usually about stress, not laziness. When something feels overwhelming, the brain avoids it, which creates guilt, which makes the task feel even worse. Over time, this leads to burnout. Understanding this cycle helps you interrupt it instead of blaming yourself.
Hi, I'm another student success coach. My name is Vajiha. For this section, we will focus on goal setting and prioritization. So, we're going to learn about what is goal setting. Goal setting means to identify what you want to achieve and planning how to get there. Effective goals are realistic, specific, and flexible, which improves focus, motivation, and time management. So, there are two types of goals. One is short term goals are completed in a day or a week, like finishing an assignment or studying for a quiz. Long term goals takes months or years, such as graduating, improving or a GPA, or preparing for a career. While short term goals help make you progress now, while long term goal gives you a direction. Now we are going to identify both long term and short term goal. Your long term goal might be graduating, improving GPA, or building confidence. Your short term goal should be something achievable in the next few days or a week. Let's have a question. Ask yourself, how does the short term goal move me closer to my long term goal? That connection is what makes goal setting powerful. For example, breaking large assignments into small steps. Like why break tasks down? Reduce your stress, procrastination, and makes progress visible. Improve follow thoughts, and large tasks feel overwhelming. Small steps makes you feel manageable. Let's take an example of a research paper. For the research paper, we cannot focus on the research paper. For the research paper, we have to follow the following steps. Let's see the following step. First of all, we will choose the topic. Location, resources. We will collect, the other, resources and everything, and create the outlines, write the draft, edit and revise it, and then we will submit the research paper. So, large assignment can feel overwhelming, which often leads to procrastination. Breaking them into small, clear steps reduce stress and makes progress easier to see. Instead of focusing on writing a research paper, focus on one step at a time.
Prioritization basics. Not all tasks are equally important. Prioritization helps you decide what needs to be done first, what can wait, and what may need adjustment or support. Urgent versus important matters. Urgent requires immediate attention, often deadline driven. Important contributes to long term goals, may not have immediate deadlines. On a matrix, it'll show you what is important, what's urgent, what's not urgent, and what is not important. What's urgent and important, you should do first. What's important but not urgent should be scheduled. Not important but urgent, delegate or limit. And not important but not urgent is minimized.
Here is the most important: balancing academic, personal, and work life, making attention choices, adjusting, prioritize when needed, and recognizing limit and capacity. There is no perfect balance, only flexible balance.
When it comes to planners, some students do better with digital tools and others prefer paper. Digital planners are helpful because they give reminders, are easy to edit, and usually are always with students on their phone or tablet. Paper planners can be better for focus because writing things down helps with memory and reduces distractions. The most important thing is choosing one system and sticking with it because using too many planners can become confusing. Calendar blocking means breaking the day into blocks for different activities like class time, homework, and breaks. Instead of just seeing a long to do list, students can see exactly when they're supposed to work on something. This helps students understand time better and makes tasks feel more manageable, which can reduce procrastination. For to do lists to be more effective, they need to stay short and realistic. So, limiting the list to 3 to 5 tasks helps students avoid feeling overwhelmed. Tasks should be labeled very specific, like read 2 pages instead of just study, so students know exactly what to do. And checking off completed tasks help build motivation and gives the students a sense of accomplishment. A weekly planning helps students look ahead, write down assignments, and prepare for deadlines before they feel rushed. Daily planning focuses on choosing the most important tasks for that day. So, having consistent planning routines helps reduce stress and gives students more control over their time and responsibilities.
Organization strategies. Best way to stay organized.
For organization, the goal is to keep things simple and consistent. I recommend one binder or digital folder per class and using color coding if that helps visually. Checking your LMS daily so nothing surprises you and then download important files right away. Also, keep your accommodations information somewhere easy to access so you're not scrambling when you need it. With email, try not to check it consistently, set specific times each day. Use folders or labels for each class and flag anything important. Keep notifications limited to what really matters so you don't get overwhelmed. And aim to respond to professors within 24 hours to stay on top of communication. When saving files, use clear, consistent names like class name, assignment, and date. Add version numbers so you don't accidentally submit the wrong draft. Keep one main folder per semester and just back everything up in that same cloud. A little organization now saves a lot of stress later. Uh, Using one planner, whether that's digital or paper, and put due dates in right away. Make sure to set reminders a few days before assignments are due so you're not rushing. Also, scheduling accommodations early, especially for exams. Breaking big assignments into smaller steps can also make them feel much manageable.
Now we're going to talk about study and work routines. And I want to start by saying productivity is not about forcing yourself to work harder, it's about working with how your brain actually functions. One of the biggest mindset shifts is choosing consistency over intensity. You don't need a 5 hour study marathon. What works better is showing up regularly in shorter, focused sessions. This is where studying techniques come in, not as rules, but as tools you can experiment with. One popular technique is the Pomodoro method. This is where you work for short, focused periods, usually about 25 minutes, and then take a real break. The reason this works is because your brain can focus better when it knows there's an end point. You're not committing to studying forever, just 25 minutes. For a lot of students, that makes starting much easier. You can adjust the timing too. Some people do 30 or 45 minutes. The key idea is to focus on work followed by intentional rest. There's plenty of Pomodoro apps out there. Another strategy is time batching. This means grouping together similar tasks instead of constantly switching between different types of work. For example, instead of answering emails throughout the day, you might batch them together into one specific time. Or you might dedicate one block of time just reading and another just for writing. This helps because task switching drains your mental energy. When you batch tasks together, your brain stays in the same mode, which makes you more efficient. The last technique I want to mention is focused work blocks. This is about protecting a chunk of time where you work on one task with minimal distractions. This might mean silencing notifications, closing extra tabs, or choosing a quieter workspace. Even one or two focus blocks a day can make a huge difference. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's just to reduce interruptions so your attention has a chance to stay in one place. Something important to remember is that these techniques should match your energy level. Harder tasks usually go better when your energy is higher, and lighter tasks can be saved for low energy times. You don't have to use all these techniques. Try one and see how it feels and adjust. The best routine is the one you actually stick with. So, when we talk about study routines, we're not talking about rigid schedules, we're talking about creating systems that make studying easier and burnout less likely.
Strategies for neurodivergent students.
Visual schedules and checklists help students understand what to expect throughout the day and reduce anxiety around transitions or unfamiliar tasks. By clearly showing each step or activity, these tools make exceptions concrete and predictable. They also support independence by allowing students to track progress and recognize when tasks are completed, which can increase motivation and confidence. Task initiation strategies focus on helping students get started without feeling stuck or overwhelmed. Often knowing where or how to begin is the biggest barrier, not the task itself. So providing clear starting points, prompts, or modeling helps lower that barrier so students can engage more quickly with less frustration. Reducing being overwhelmed involves intentionally designing tasks and environments to feel manageable and supportive. By breaking work into smaller pieces and limiting the amount of information presented at one time, students can focus more effectively and sustain attention. This approach helps prevent shutdown, frustration, or avoidance by making expectations feel achievable. So, flexible planning recognizes that students' needs may vary depending on energy, focus, or task demands. Allowing adjustments in pacing, timing, or how work is completed helps maintain engagement without sacrificing learning goals. This flexibility supports self-advocacy and ensures students can demonstrate understanding in ways that align with their strengths.
So, here we will be focusing on managing stress and burnout. First, it is important to understand what is burnout is. So, burnout is a state of physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion, and that's happened when someone experiencing prolonged or ongoing stress because Burnout develops over the time, and it is important to recognize signs overloaded earlier. Some common signs included over fatigue or low motivation, difficulty in concentration on your task or daily activities, and feeling irritable, or overwhelming. Another sign can be falling behind on tasks, responsibility, which often happen when stress started to build up. By recognizing these signs earlier, students can take steps to manage their stress, seeking support, and make adjustment before burnout become a serious issue. So burnout does not happen overnight. It builds gradually over time when stress continues without enough rest and uh, support. There are several earlier signs of stress to watch for, such as increasing fatigue even after resting, irritability, and emotional sensitivity, and difficulty in concentrating. Some students may also start avoiding emails, assignments, or meetings, announcement from your class teacher, or experiencing headache, muscle tension, or sleep changes. Students may also feel overwhelmed by even small tasks, which can make everyday responsibilities feel much harder to manage. The key message here is that the stress signals are not a sign of failure. They are information. Recognizing these signs earlier helps students to make adjustment or seek support before reaching burnout. Strategy for maintaining balance. First, it is important to use weekly planning. Planning weekly ahead helps you organize tasks, prioritize what need to be done, and avoid last minute stress. Another key strategy is a communication boundary. This means being clear about your availability and limits, whether it is with your classmate, coworker, or your friends. Setting boundaries help protect your time and your energy. It is also important to build in breaks and buffer time. Breaks allow you to rest and recharge your energy, and buffer times give you flexibility in case tasks take longer than expectations. Finally, don't hesitate to ask for support when you feel overwhelmed. Reaching out to your mentor, advisor, or your peer can help you to manage challenging and find solutions. Overall, maintaining balance is a planning ahead, protecting yourself, taking break, and seeking support when needed.
Prevention strategies. Building buffer time. Avoid scheduling back to back commitments. Add extra time before deadlines. Plan for unexpected events.
Self compassion and realistic expectations. First, we're going to talk about self compassion includes speaking to yourself as you would to be a friend, like self talk, recognizing that rest is productive, and understanding that capacity fluctuates. Now we're going to look into reframing examples. Instead of I should be able to handle this, you should say what support would make this manageable. Instead of everyone else is doing more, my piece is validated and sustainable for me. Many students, especially high achieving or first generation students, feel pressured to prove themselves. For students with disability, this pressure can be more stronger. Success is not about doing everything, it's about doing what is sustainable. When to adjust your plan. Flexibility is strength, not weakness. Adjust when you noticed ongoing exhaustion, declining academic performance, increasing anxiety or shutdown, missing deadlines repeatedly for your assignments, and physical health worsening. Possible adjustment meet with SSD to retrieve your accommodations and talk to your professor earlier, reduce course load if appropriate, and reprioritize your commitments, increase check-ins with your mentors, talk to them, and take support from them, seeking counseling on campus or wellness support center.
Let's talk about accountability and follow through.
When it comes to accountability, it starts with clear goals. We want goals that are specific and measurable so we actually know what success looks like. Big goals can feel overwhelming, so breaking them into weekly targets makes them more manageable. Scheduling regular check ins, whether daily or weekly, keeps progress top of mind. Tracking visually in a planner app or spreadsheet helps us see growth over time. And most importantly, we focus on consistency, not perfection. Reminders work best when we set them right away, as soon as we commit to something. Using multiple cues like calendar out alerts, alarms, or even sticky notes increases the chances we won't forget. It also it's also important to schedule reminders before deadlines, so we have um, time to prepare. Keeping reminders clear and action based makes them more effective, and reviewing them at the same time each day builds routine and reliability. Sharing our goals with someone we trust adds another layer of commitment. It's important to set clear expectations and deadlines so everyone knows the plan. Standing accountability meetings create consistency. During those check ins, it's helpful to report progress honestly, both wins and setbacks, and celebrating milestones together keeps motivation high. Accountability also means taking time to reflect. So each week we should review what worked and what didn't. Identifying obstacles or patterns help us make smarter adjustments. Sometimes we need to shift timelines or strategies, and that's okay. Resetting priorities for the upcoming week helps us stay focused, and ending with 1 to 3 clear commitments gives us direction moving forward.
What's your next step? We don't want to leave with just information. We want you leaving with one action. Start with a simple weekly plan, not a perfect one, just something realistic. Look at your fixed commitments first, then add flexible study time in a way that actually fits your life. Then choose one small habit to start this week, not five, just one. Progress comes from consistency, not doing everything at once. And if something doesn't work, you don't quit, you adjust. Time management is a skill you practice, not something you have or don't have.
Here is some healthy habits for time management and staying organized. First, time and planning. Review tomorrow's schedule for 5 minutes at night. Add one 30 minutes buffer block this week. Stress and regulation. Take 3 slow breaths before checking your emails. Write down your top 3 priority each morning. Boundaries. Pause before saying yes to new commitments.
Remember at CSUSB, you are not alone. I want to take a minute to walk through actual resources on campus because a lot of students don't use them simply because they don't know what they do or assume they're not for them. You don't need to remember all of these, just remember that help exists in different forms. First are academic resources. These focus directly on your coursework and skill building. The Writing Center, for example, isn't just for grammar. They help with brainstorming, understanding prompts, revising drafts, and then we have Azusa Tutoring. They work with many different subjects on campus, which can save you hours of frustration when you're stuck. Some classes also offer supplemental instruction, which gives you extra structured review time with peers. These resources help you work smarter, not longer. We also have academic advising to help you stay on track with classes and your graduation plans. Next are campus support services, which support you as a whole student, not just academically. We have counseling and wellness services, CAPS, that help with stress, anxiety, and burnout, which directly affects your focus and time management. There's also basic need resources like food or emergency support because it's hard to focus on school when basic needs aren't being met. These services exist to remove barriers so school feels more manageable. There are also smaller resources like the GroupMe app to make study groups with your peers, become interconnected with them, using Google Calendar to keep track of deadlines from your syllabus directly, and actually going to your professor's office hours to get feedback on grades you might be getting and how you can adjust to that. Finally, the Student Success Program, our program. Student success coaches work with students on time management, organization, goal setting, and being a study partner for another technique called Feynman. Reach out to the CSUSB SSD website to find our program and book an appointment today. We give practical, ongoing support to help you stay on track. The main thing I want you to hear is this: using resources is a strategy, not a last resort. Students who use support early tend to feel less overwhelmed and more in control of their time.
Thank you, and good luck from the Student Success Program. And let's get to time management.
Success is built on the foundation of good time management and organized effort.